Got back from Ireland. Want to compliment our players again on how well they handled that whole trip, and thank the fans again for unbelievable support over there. That pep rally was really something to see. Obviously, really disappointed we weren't able to give the people over there a victory. Some things we definitely need to clean up, and some other things I think we can really build on. But I've been really impressed with the way the kids answered the bell, even coming off a overseas flight. So these guys are in a good spot right now. Questions?
What do you want to see out of this week? I mean, when you look at that game last week, I mean, where are the biggest improvements that need to come forward this week?
I think a lot of places, watching the tape, we played hard. The effort was there. Came down to 4 or 5 plays, probably on both sides of the ball again, that we need to execute. Had a couple busts on defense and misfits that cost us some big plays and cost us a first down or two, and that led to points. Had a couple more chances on offense to score. We're going to be in a lot of games where that's the case, and I think just detail and consistency.
You mentioned maybe the need to be more creative offensively. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I didn't even realize I said that after the game. I guess, kind of referring to the run game more than anything. Coach Whipp's really good. He knows his stuff. Thought he did a really good job calling the game. We've gotten better up front. There's no doubt about it. We're better at running back. There's no doubt about it. But in the Big Ten, it's hard to just turn around and hand it to a back and think you're going to be real consistent. So I think I was referring to, coming off the game, just maybe having a few more things in the run game that are schemed for the particular opponent.
Did you kind of get a chance to work with the coordinators after the game and debrief about creativity? If so, how did that conversation?
Yeah, I don't want to get into the creativity thing. That we did a lot of really creative things on offense, and for the first 2.5 quarters, I thought the offense, for having a lot of new pieces and new coaches, operated really well. But I did debrief with both sides, and there's a lot of frustration and disappointment, but also some things we can build on.
Scott, you guys back on schedule after the crazy travel you had?
We're kind of back now. It was tough, getting back as late. We kind of chose this, that we wanted to go right back into week 2. So we had meetings yesterday morning and a kind of a walk-through practice in the evening instead of practicing in the morning. Turned around and had a similar practice today. We had pads on for a while today to get a little rust knocked off, and then finished with no pads on. We're going to have a normal Wednesday, so starting tomorrow morning, we should be back on normal schedule.
How much did the lack of run game affect the last quarter and a half of the passing game with Casey? Or was there something that you'd like to see Casey improve on in that last quarter?
No, it's 1 or 2 plays. Honestly, Sam, I can think of one drive. We had the ball up 4 and on their 40, 1st and 10, and I think that was the one we ended up with an interception on. And so it's 1 or 2 plays where if we hit a play, it leads to points, and that's this league. In general, I thought, like I said, everything was great. We need to make sure that we execute a little better in those situations. And I know Whip watched the 4th quarter with the offense yesterday, and up until that point, I thought we played really well. I think we can keep coming together and being even better.
I know the tempo is really up early in the game. Obviously, Northwestern was a little overwhelmed on that first drive. Later in the game, when you guys had some 3 and outs, what's the challenge with finding the right line as to when to go fast and when going fast can maybe tax your defense a little bit?
There's a line there, and I've learned that, and I think our staff has learned that in this league, and it kind of is game to game when you want to go fast and when you got the advantage and when you need to slow it down. So we're going to have to be good there. Our defense was on the field too much. Part of that was probably offense. Part of that was them needing to get off the field on a couple 3rd downs. But again, to your original question, Whip does so many good things, and we do so many good things now with a lot of the concepts that he's had for a long time. I want all of us to put our heads together and find ways to create more first downs so we get more opportunities to do those things.
What do you do with the tackling this week? Did you press that issue with them this week, like starting the ball?
Yeah, overall it wasn't bad. We had, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 glaring ones, open field ones. Give a lot of credit to their backs. I thought they did a really good job at the end of runs with one last cut, and Overall, I believe in this group. I think they're going to be a really good tackling unit. Our long run, they missed a couple tackles. A couple of their runs, we missed a couple tackles. I see that getting better as the year goes on.
What's the pulse of the team right now, and how do you avoid letting that loss hang over?
This is the best locker room and culture we've had, the tightest team we've had. In the building, everybody's excited, disappointed but excited. We know we got to get it done this year as a staff, the team, but that doesn't matter. I want this for the kids, and we got a great bunch of kids that believe in themselves right now and feel like they have a lot to prove.
So this didn't do anything to dampen that enthusiasm?
No, I think it probably only strengthens resolve. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely had more conversations with special teams and defense than I've ever had, but I'll find my rhythm there too.
When it comes to the wide receiver drops, was it all on them? Does Casey need to put it better, or just a case-by-case thing?
Again, you say all the drops. There was 2 or 3 that we really should have caught. Some other contested balls. A couple of those guys are playing some of their first college football, and definitely their first college football at Nebraska. But we got to be more efficient. So that's Jug's machine. That's getting extra catches. That's more timing with the quarterback. That'll get better too.
Do you expect to have Travis Vogelike this week? And when he's going, what kind of weapon was he for you on Saturday?
I thought he played a great first half. I wouldn't say it hurt us, but it definitely kind of changed a couple of things we were thinking about doing without him in there. He's a real security blanket for us. He's day-to-day. We have a couple other guys that are day-to-day, and nobody that we lost for an extended amount of time.
Scott, when you went unbalanced with the offensive line a bunch of times, especially that first half, what needs to improve for those to get more push and maybe to get more yardage?
Well, defenses in this league are tough. If you line up and go head-to-head and just try to push, you don't see a lot of teams doing that anymore. And, again, give them a lot of credit. But there needs to be answers, and we'll keep getting better with that. There's a lot of good things in some of those concepts that we do, and I think we can add to them.
Is some of that, too, on the running back has to work in unison, too, to go? It's a couple of those times I saw the running backs break open a little sooner.
It's some timing and some things like that, absolutely. For the most part, I was really pleased with some of the runs we made at running back. When we get those guys on the second level, I think they're going to be really dangerous. And I think there's a few things we can do to help make sure that they're not getting touched at the line of scrimmage, but we get them on the second level, give them a few more chances.
How hard was it to leave on the cutting room floor, basically a part of the game plan that worked really well last year against Northwestern, and just not use it with the quarterback option and those things?
We used it a little bit. Again, simply said, Sam, if I was calling a game, I wouldn't want somebody else shoving a lot of things down my throat. You get a rhythm as a play caller. That's the approach I took. Whip's an elite play caller. I think that showed up in the first 2.5 quarters. You see what can be done with this offense. We did run some of it. If I was calling it, maybe we call a little more, but I also wouldn't have been able to call the things he did to score us the first 28 points. So it's going to have to continue to be a marriage of different things, and I think we'll continue to get better at that.
Was there a thought of keeping Logan on the field there for more plays than just the one that was successful?
Yeah, he had a package, and I think we probably would have done a little more of it in the fourth quarter. Didn't dictate that.
Scott, kind of following up on what Sam was asking with regard to the play time, you might have done something different at a certain point, but you got to the points when you needed those play calls. You mentioned cooperation after the game. Is there tension between you and Mark at all?
No, not at all. He's really smart, really good at what he does. We have a lot of other coaches that are really smart, really good at what they do. We just need to find our rhythm of putting all the best stuff together. And I thought it was good on Saturday. It can be better.
Hey, Scott, are you able in that role that you're in to have conversations with your assistants during the game on personnel, whether it's offense or defense, on guys who are going in, substitution patterns, or is that still something you need to do?
I have more time to do that now. For the most part, we talk about that right before the game, what the plan is for who's going to play and who's going to get reps. And we stick to that plan unless something comes up in the game that would make us alter it.
Scott, do you have an update on Omar Manning, timetable for his return?
Yeah, Omar was out there practicing full today, so feel good about him.
Coach, I was kind of impressed with Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda. Can you talk a little bit about him as kind of a player?
Isaiah's a great person, first and foremost, and he's a competitor. It doesn't surprise me at all that he had that kind of game. He's a fighter and a really smart and pays attention to detail, and I think that showed up Saturday.
What made A.J. Allen, a guy who is a first-year freshman, is in the mix there?
Running back, asked the question about rotation. Running back's one of the places we have a lot of guys that deserve to play. There's a couple that I don't think played enough or very much at all. That's going to kind of be a week-to-week thing a little bit unless somebody really takes it and runs with it, and guys that practice well. Ramir Johnson's a really good football player that's done a lot for this program, and he kind of got caught between playing some receiver in practice and playing running back. We got to use him more. Gabe Irvin is ready to go and healthy, and I'd like to see us use him. Those guys can help us win football games.
What's it say about put him in there at the 7, at your own 7?
I didn't hear you say.
What's it say about A.J. Allen that you put him in there at your own 7-yard line?
Yeah, he's a pretty special kid. I think he's got a bright future. He's in the mix right now, and we trust all those guys.
How much did Buccini help you guys with everything, field position?
Yeah, there's one bright spot you can really take out of it. And that's as well as I've seen the ball punted around here for a long time. Unfortunately, they had more chances to pin us than we had to pin them and gave us some longer fields. But I feel great about that unit going forward with him punting the ball.
What kind of read do you have on North Dakota? I mean, how much have you been able to watch them guys?
I tell you, I'm impressed with them. I know their record wasn't good last year. They lost a lot of close games. I don't know how anybody does that for sure. They played North Dakota State to 3. They were ahead of Utah State by quite a bit in the middle of the game. I think they're smart with what they do. There's a lot of scheme stuff on offense that challenges you. They bring a ton of heat and pressures from all over the place on defense, and you can never really count on them being anywhere. So it's a good challenge for us. I think it's going to make us focus on some things that we probably need to focus on to get that much better.
Scott, you mentioned last week that, or you just mentioned that you wanted to see more Ramir in the offense. Why wasn't he more a part of that on Saturday?
We needed some help. We thought with depth outside and with our depth at running back, I want Ramir to be able to play both. And he took a bunch of reps outside, and he's gotten really good at that. But it's been a little bit of a learning curve, and I think he just kind of caught between playing outside and playing in the backfield. And but he's good enough. We need to find some roles for him and make sure he has some touches.
Scott, watching it back on film, what did you see from the defense that allowed Northwestern to have that success running the football at the end of the game?
Scheme. I think we probably needed to rotate a little more with a few guys. We had some guys that played 90 snaps and came out of the game looking fresh as a daisy. I know Q, you're going to talk to Q today, and he played 90 snaps between special teams and defense and looked as fast on the 96 plays he did on the first. Some of the guys in the trenches, maybe there needs to be a little better rotation there to make sure we're a little fresher at the end of the game and we're not leaning too much on a couple guys. But mostly I give them credit. They hit us with a couple schemes in 4-minute drill that we hadn't seen before, and that we didn't practice and fit up right. And that led to a couple crease runs that extended a couple of those drives.
Scott, it's a home opener on Saturday. What are you telling your boys that what they can expect in terms of playing in front of the home fans?
Yeah, I'm excited. We got a lot of players that never played in Memorial Stadium. I know it's going to be a special experience for them. Again, I can't thank the fans that went to Ireland enough. This is a neat team. I know the fans are going to be there to support them. Don't give up on this team because this is a neat group of kids, and I know Husker Faith will be out to support them on Saturday.
Questions for Coach?
Casey, okay,
Yeah, Casey's great. I tell you, I knew Casey was a good football player. He made some plays in that game that really impressed me. And that's another real positive thing. When you get a kid you haven't seen play live before, you don't really know what you got. We got a kid there that can win us a lot of football games. So he can get better. We can all get better. But he's going to give us a chance in everyone.
Coach, offensive line is a bigger question coming into the season. How do you feel about that? Performance after that one?
They did pretty well. I thought our pass protection was greatly improved. You know, we dropped back and threw it a lot, and Casey got hit a few times, but we had one sack on just a good schemed up blitz by them on a must throw situation. Another one where Casey fell down. Other than that, they did a good job giving him time to get the ball out. Casey did a good job getting the ball out. You know, that unit's going to keep getting better as they play together too. That's really their first time together as a unit. I've been seeing the improvement and the work done by those guys. So I feel good about the direction that group's going.